I've got this great recreation of the 1991 Toxic Crusader figure of Toxie himself, the Toxic Avenger. Playmates, the company that would make the Ninja Turtles toys, actually made this line in the past, in those early 90s. Here we kind of have a revival of the same molds. A little easier way to get this figure. I'll go ahead and compare it to the older figure that I did have as a kid. But look at this packaging, it looks amazing. It's a jumbo card back, so different than the original one that just had a big cartoon picture of Toxie on it. All the figures had. From the line here we have like a big toxic waste barrel rounded and a packaging bubble on it, but the same thematic colors on the card back. Lots of little info here about the character on the front, and you can see the awesome figure here. On the back, little bio of the Toxic Avenger here, more based on the cartoon series that I mysteriously actually got to see as a kid. I was kind of the kid that only knew this and was like, oh, the Toxic Crusaders, and then you just like find out later that it's like an R-rated movie based, like if you're watching like RoboCop cartoons and stuff like that. All the accessories shown off on the back, we'll go through those. And then here on the back we got Toxie, and it shows Dr. Killmoff right here, so I think they're definitely going to do the main villain of the cartoon as a figure. This is the only one there is right now, is Toxie himself. And he has a nice little bio thing you can pause and read here as well. So not identical to the card backs, but a lot of elements from them. A huge card to put lots of images on, so once they get more figures, it'll have all the little pictures probably of all the other characters they make. Hopefully they make a lot. Hopefully they at least remake the whole line that existed at the time, so I won't have to hunt down decrepit old versions of them from the 90s, which is usually what I do here on the channel, is find all the 90s figures I wish I had or show off the ones I did. So I love when they actually recreate the original design instead of like enhancing it too much and it makes a whole new figure. This is like based heavily on the original. So it looks awesome just like this on the card, over a foot tall. But if you know me, I gotta open up everything, so I gotta see how exactly. I mean, I'm just gonna rip it open like a child. It'd be one worth keep one on the card later, if possible. But I'm just gonna rip it like a crazy fool. Beautiful globe. Just remember this globe image though for later. So we got him here. Take out his shield with the pipe handle, and these weapons all have a black kind of goo on them. And I bet the original probably just had a sticker for this Toxic Crusaders logo. This one's actually kind of a printed on. That's just a guess because I don't still have the shield. But classic style accessory. We also got the mop, his main weapon. It does have a little feature thing. We got a little pocket here and some holes. And again, this one's flecked with stuff here. And the original, I think, was just plain orange plastic. I'm going to add a detail that actually matches the figure once we look at him. He's got just 3 little canister grenades that also have that green fleck on them. Get those out of here. I always thought as a kid that the figure came with slime, and I got the slime taken away from me, but the originals didn't come with a tub of slime. You had to buy it separately. Here we've got it included, and I believe this is glow-in-the-dark slime. Why, yes it is. Glows quite a bit. Sealed up here pretty nice. Never got to have like slimes as a kid. Never got to have any of the Ninja Turtle slime packs. I wasn't allowed to have that, but there's a little something in here. Oh no, it's this type. It's way too wet. Alright, this is going to be a problem for me. They've decided to put his last accessory in here. If I can get a hold of it. Okay, yeah. A little wet on the slime. No. I can't even show it. I don't know why they kept this a secret. It was on the back of the box. It wasn't that big of a secret, but the front packaging. Look at this. This is... Alright, I'm going to have to wash our little friend here off to even show him. But just to show the slime, which has that plasticky bit, we just get a little bit of slime that's not too filled up in here, but it's very wet. It's like, it's not gonna go back once you mess with it. And I'm getting it all over. Okay, I gotta clean up so we can continue here. So I got him cleaned up the best I can here. This is Little Blobby. You know, sometimes they have the little companion critter with some of the Ninja Turtle characters, so we had that with the Toxic Crusaders line. I assume these kind of painted bits are supposed to be on there, unless it's the slime has really like dried on there, but I don't see how that would be. So maybe they're trying to do like a wash on it to bring out the detail a little more on him, because he's in the glow-in-the-dark material. That does hide a lot of the detail sometimes. So we can see his bright glow there. He's quite the toxic critter. That's pretty cool. Full glow-in-the-dark little buddy. And then the slime goo itself is glow in the dark too. But it is very moist. We'll play with that in a bit. We still got to get the man. Oh, so here he is. Toxie himself. So he's definitely just built like the original one with the turning head, arms up and down, but then they do have some kind of wrist turning on both sides. He's got the point. And we have the kind of classic Playmates turning legs here. Keep that in mind, they only turn in place. You can't move them in and out that way. He has his bandolier already put on here. That's where you would put the mop, I believe. And it's for the grenades, but I guess the notch needs to be up. We'll actually have to take this off. But here the eyes are glow in the dark. Both eyes. Not just his droopy big one. Interesting to note because the original figure just has the one big eye that's glow in the dark, as we can see here. So speaking of the original, we got one here. This is my childhood figure that I used to have of him. Right off the bat, the height, they're going to be a little bit bigger on the new one. Keep that in mind. Ever so slightly different tints of green. The headband here, we kind of got like more on the old one kind of sticking out, the newer one kind of down. But a lot of the stuff is the same shape and a lot of the same colors. Here's the kind of thing I like about these redos is we kind of have the hole in his shirt torn here and you can see the skin underneath, and here, you know, it's just a detail. They couldn't afford to do one extra little paint app or something to kind of show that, or too tricky to kind of paint the top here that way. So that's like an enhancement that should have been there, they just didn't budget it. But the old one has the little globe belt buckle omitted from the new one. So I hate when there's kind of like a give and take there, but I guess you got to give something to keep in the originals. But here, even on the original one, we have those flecks that are on the figure. We see that in the newer one, and then that's why they've applied it to the accessories of the new one too, to kind of like have an overall theme there with that paint, little painty flecks. And again, a lot of the same details with the shoes and stuff. A little more realized since it is bigger on the newer one. You can see a lot more of the toes on the new one here. Slightly less bright colors with like the yellow wrapping there. You can see it in the yellow wristband as well. And you can see more lime green on the skin of the older one. But for getting a brand new one with all the accessories, you know, instead of having to hunt down the very old 90s one, pretty good deal. But also we have the movement of the legs on the old one like this, because they are kind of on pegs inside here. So extra articulation on the older one, instead of this new one that can only do the turn. Another strange bit there that, you know, the old one has maybe missing something that the newer one has something missing on the figure that the older one happens to have. So it's a toss up, but I just think getting all the accessories, you know, that's a big deal. Getting them fresh. And a little bit bigger figure. I mean, I don't know if that really matters that much. Get the bandolier off. We can kind of get a clear view of the figure that way, but we need to turn this around so the bits of the notch are up so we can get those grenades put on there. Let's just try the mop in there. Fits in the holster pretty good. I don't see any issues with that. No American flag sticker to have on the mop. Strange little omission, but I would like to have that optional anyway, so I would have just picked the option of not having it on there so we could just see the plain mop. But strange to admit that. No American flag. A little bit of a miss, but doesn't worry me really with my collection. The shield gonna fit in this hand pretty good. I'd say the mop would probably go in the right. So kind of a looser grip in the other hand, but it fits in there pretty good. Still a shield for him. The mop, again, fitting in this hand very well with the right hand. And since you have the turn, you know, a little bit of posability with the mop, and we can do the old double-handed pose, which is probably more the intention. The mop of justice. And I suppose you could even have him throwing his little grenades as well, if you wanted to get creative there, because that is a weapon he comes with. So again, the body detail, the shoes, and the feet are a lot more detailed than the older one with the little blobs and wraps, and we got more of the fleck going on. You can really tell the tutu kind of look a lot more clear because it is a taller, bigger figure. And I think he has a few extra bits, like some extra veins and things that are showing that you're just not going to see too well on the older one. Got the bandolier here. I always wondered what this peg at the top was. Could it be? There's a hole on Blobby. Is he supposed to sit up here like a parrot? He kind of sits up there, but the headband stuff kind of gets in the way there. You can kind of position it different ways to get him up there. I don't see where the shield would do that up there, so maybe that is Blobby's little perch. I never knew that. Of course, the slime kind of got gunked up in there, so I might have to pick some more out so I can get him down in better. Get the grenades on. So the new ones are a lot bigger than the original one, but then the gap is a lot bigger. So they sit on the bandolier a little more loose unless you really jam them down in there. But it has the extra details, some extra little flex on there. Yeah, they feel pretty difficult to get in there looking good. I'll have to take some more time to really get those on there. But we've already shown you can hold his weapons, you can hold the mop, hold the shield, double hand the mop, but then we don't really have anywhere to put the shield very good. We can put the mop up in the back, like so. A lot of posing options since this is more like a collector's item. The only people that are going to really know Toxic Crusaders and stuff is people like me that saw the original cartoon, thought it was going to be a big thing, even though it really didn't take off super well, but it did get the toy line that I liked having the figure of. I suppose I'll have to show the mop getting filled with slime and shooting out, but that is going to be a mess, so pretty cool though, just a little added thing. There's just not much space in there to put a hole out of the slime, and then once you get it all over, it's going to be kind of the end of the slime play for him. So slightly enhanced, but still very much like the original, so I like that element. That's what I like here is usually the originals, but if they kind of do redos that are incredibly similar to the original ones, like this is, it's worth getting because it's a lot easier to hunt down a brand new, clean version with all the accessories included. Always the hard part of getting older figures. You want to have all the accessories with them. That's the first thing that gets lost. And then just like general wear and tear on the figures too. This one all nice and clean, ironic since he's a toxic waste monster. But fits into my collection pretty awesomely because I did have the figure as a kid. Would have liked to have all of them, of course, but rarely was that ever the case. Since you were just a kid, you could only get so much stuff. But that's kind of my mission now, is kind of completing collections, so Toxic Crusaders is one I was going to start hunting down, maybe piece by piece, showing off here. But if they're going to redo these and then apparently do maybe some other characters that they didn't get done in the original very small toy line, since the cartoon was only a few episodes long, I think this might be my better avenue for collecting them as this newer wave. So hopefully we'll see more here. And if 90s action figure stuff is your interest, you probably want to get subscribed here, check out all the playlists on the channel, go through and see if there's stuff that you're interested in. I'd imagine there will be if you like Toxie. So hopefully I'll get to see you in the next video with my big drooping eyeball.